He's been riding and turning wrenches on V-twin American motors since the 70s. He's a man of experience and a man of respect. He's Rusty Coons, and this is his podcast. On this episode, Rusty's guest is the award-winning custom builder and innovator, John Shope, of Dirty Bird Concepts in Phoenix, Arizona.
Hello, my name is Rusty Coons, and I have with me today John Shope of Dirty Bird Concepts, one of the premier builders he's the one that's got things going with the big wheel baggers, and he's always on the leading edge of customization with motorcycles and even with cars. How you doing, John?
I'm doing good, buddy. With that introduction, I don't even know what else to add to it.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, man, I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true, man. I've been watching everything you build for years and top-notch shit, man. I'm telling you, you got a good rep. You build great parts. I remember when I was customizing, remember that Victory that I wanted to make it look like a big wheel road glide?
Yeah.
You gave me the bags and the stuff for that, and I modified everything and made it look like a road glide, but it actually had a supercharged Victory drivetrain. It was badass, you know?
Yeah, I don't know how you pulled that off, but that bike ended up looking pretty cool.
Not bad. I mean, I remember we were at Easy Riders in Long Beach, I think it was, and you were there and a bunch of the guys, all the builders, and I took it there, I wrote it down. I figured, what the fuck, I'll throw it in there. It wasn't built to show, but it ended up like in the bagger, modified radical bagger or some shit. I don't know, you know, but it got like second or third, I think, you know.
Yeah, I think I got first.
Of course. I mean, you know,
No.
with the shit you built.
No, I'm kidding.
No, you're not, man. I think you got some badass stuff. But anyhow, look, I want to talk about Dirty Bird Concepts. I want to talk about Sinister Industries, which was the first name of your business for about 12 years. And then I want to talk about your skills, all the trends that are happening now and what's been happening, because you always seem to be right at the beginning of all of them, you know?
Yeah.
So let's go back to the early days. What was the first motorcycle? How old were you, and what was it?
I was in first grade. It was remember those old mini bikes that had the lawnmower engines in it? I think they were called tacos.
Yeah.
You had to pull start them.
Yeah.
I had one of those, and man, as soon as I rode that, I crashed right away, whatever. But as soon as I started riding that thing, I was hooked from then on. I just couldn't believe I didn't have to pedal.
Yeah, I remember those, man. I had a little mini bike. Remember the tote goats? That was way the fuck back. Tote goat was like a mini bike, but a little bigger. They actually made them for hunters to go up, you know, when they drag a deer out after they shoot it and all that. But it had like tractor type tires on it, and it was way slower. And it's hard to say anything slower than a taco mini bike, but it was even slower than that, you know. But
I remember now that when I got it, it had a 3 on the engine. I didn't know it was 3 horsepower. Well, one day the old man came back with a 5. And he put the 5 in there, you know, the 5 horsepower.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit. I was flying down the roads or whatever. He was sitting there drinking beer, laughing. But man, with that 5 horsepower motor in that thing, to me back then, it was flying.
I know. I did the same thing. One of my buddies put a 5 in his, and I had a 3.5 Tecumseh in mine. And he was smoking me on the thing. It made a huge difference.
Yeah. That was so long ago, gee.
Yeah. All right. So now after that, what was your next? You stepped up as you got older. Did you get into dirt bike racing or?
Yeah. I mean, I grew up poor, white trash, whatever, you know, mom did the best she could. Dad he was in a motorcycle club, the Axeman in San Diego back in the 70s, the president, whatever. I grew up around all that stuff. So, you know, I always got dirt bikes. They were always used. I'm sure they were always stolen, which I don't care. But he kept me on dirt bikes quite a bit. And then I raced BMX, but I was always tearing stuff apart, and I wasn't a very good kid. I got into stealing shit. When you don't have money and no one will give you a job, you steal stuff, and
Right.
well, I kind of got into that for a while. Anyway, I kind of just grew up all around dirt bikes, and just couldn't wait to turn 16.
Right on. And when you were 16, what was that? When you got your first car?
Yeah, my grandpa actually, he bought a 64 Chevelle, brand new, and he kept it all those years. And giving away my age here, but he gave it to me when I turned 16, and I ended up trading off some old El Camino, and I know, pretty big regret,
Oh, those were badass. Yeah.
I know, but we do things when we're kids, and we
I've done the same, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
So after that, so you had the cars for a bit there. Were you still riding any kind of bike at the same time during your teen years?
Yeah, I had an old Sportster, old Ironhead. Could never keep it running. Later on, I can't remember how old I was. 18, 19, I built a Shovelhead. Probably all stolen parts again. Had a Paco frame. I remember that. It was a stroker. It was a 93 inch, I think, or something, or no, 80. I don't know. Anyway, it had
86, I'll bet.
Yeah. It shook like a pig. Yeah. But I rode that all over San Diego, and so I always had something. Started tinkering on stuff, working on my buddies' bikes, and after a while, I'd get a bike done. My biggest problem is I'm ADD, so I get a bike done, I put upswept pipes on it, do whatever I could back then, and then I get rid of it because I wanted something else, and then I go get another bike, and then I get up all the parts, and then I get that one done. I'd be like, I don't want it. And I was making a little money off each one. And then my buddies, so finally my buddy's like, man, why don't you just start building bikes to sell? He goes, that's basically what you're doing. And by then we moved up to Oregon, and I was living up there. So I started building some choppers back then, like right around 2000, just, no license, no shop, just selling, buying, whatever, stealing, it's kind of how it was back then.
Kind of working out of the garage?
Yeah, out of the garage. Yeah.
So then when did you first open up the shop? Around 2000?
Yeah, it was actually 03. I went to the Easy Rider show. I built the bike actually made it on the cover of Hot Bike. Had a shovel in it, dual magnetos. I made all the stuff for it. I had it spinning on a stand. I thought I was going to win the thing. And that was when the biker build-off was going on, and Yaffe was there, Billy Lane, Aaron Green. They were all there at that Portland Easy Rider show. And I was just like, wow, it was just, and ever since then, I just kept pushing to try to figure out how I could make my name or get my bikes out there. It's anybody that's tried to get into the motorcycle, it's one of the toughest things to make it at, and a lot of my stuff, some good ideas, a lot of luck, a lot of good timing, because I'm by no means the best, but you put all those things together, and boom, you can get lucky. So that's kind of how I did it.
During that period of time, I was in a federal prison. I got out in the end of 04, beginning of 05, and I started rebuilding my motorcycle shop. And then I thought I was going to do mass production or limited production because I have CARB and EPA with Illusion Cycles. And then 2008 hits and just wiped everything out, man.
Yep.
And I had a small little 1,500-foot shop at the time, so I survived it. But man, it was just like hand to mouth, for a while there. If I had bigger overhead, I would have sunk. But I was so low on the overhead, I could get through it.
And the thing is, a lot of the guys that build bikes and are in the bike, like Tabor from Nash Motorcycles, he's one of my friends. I mean, we did it or do it because we love it. Some people hit it, very few, and others just cruise along, and they love their work. So it's kind of there's hats off to the guys, because nobody's getting rich.
No,
it's a love hate. It's a living.
And when you run a shop like that, you're welded to that shop. If you want that shop to not sink, you can't put somebody else in charge of it and walk away. If you own it and you want to make money and pay the bills and have a successful shop, you have to be there almost every day, because the days you aren't there, you're not making the same money, you know?
And you need to know what you're doing. You need to know what's cool. You need to know what's next. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, especially to stay relevant. You know, staying relevant that's a whole nother topic there.
Yeah. And then another thing is invoicing. A lot of people, they're great fabricators, great painters, great builders, whatever. They don't know about invoicing. So it doesn't matter how much work you do. If you're not getting paid for it because you don't know how to invoice, you're not making money and you can't pay the bills.
Yeah.
And it's tight enough, even if you are invoicing right, you know.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, you know, you got something goes wrong, and you know, it's hours of, a lot of times you can't charge the customer for that, so you just eat it. So there's a lot of
I mean, you weigh it all out. I've done it a million times where you discount, you know, or don't charge for certain things to be fair. But at the same time, you have to track everything, man. I know I track every fucking minute. You know what I mean? And you just have to. You got to, and it's more fair to you and the customer. So you can go over every day. I have work reports on everything done, every nut and bolt, and the whole deal. It's the right way to do it, and it'll help your business and your reputation. You can always come back and go over everything, you know, add detail with all your customers, you know.
100%.
So check it out. So you're working your way up. What kind of bikes were you doing mostly in the 2000 to 2010 era?
I mean, at first I was doing still some custom bikes. I got approached for a reality show. It's called the Chopper Challenge. It aired on CMT. I don't remember, early 2000s, like 05, 06. And Cole Foster, Mitch Bergeron, there was 10 shops there, and we all got a theme. One guy got to build one for Jack Daniels, this, that. My theme was Cedar, the rock band. So we built this nasty bike. It's on my website, and I ended up winning. I beat all of them. And I was like, wow, this is I did it, you know, kind of. And I thought, man, I'm gonna have to hire a bunch of people, this and that, get a bigger shop. I never got one build off that show. And that was right about the time the economy, you know, the choppers were kind of, you know, going down. It already reached its, you know, thing. And it was pretty, it was, some of the Titan and them were going out of business, Big Dog, you know, it was kind of that time. And so my buddy, actually, Doug, he had a old ratty Street Glide, and he put a motocross wheel on the front, cut the neck off and put a 23-inch. There wasn't even a 23-inch wheel. And I saw that bike and I said, hey, let me ride that turd. So I rode it, and I couldn't believe how good it rode. So I went back and I told my wife, I go, hey, I got one idea and that's it. And we're done. So I took a Street Glide, cut the fender, stretched it, stretched the tank, cut the neck off, stretched it out. And I had I can't remember the name of the wheel place. They made the first 23. I forgot the name of the guy. And anyway, so Doug had one made too, actually, and got rid of his motocross wheel. So, and then I stretched the fenders, pipes, and just made this badass bike. And I took it around Scottsdale, and Yaffe's seen it, and he goes, I just put a 21 on my Road Glide, and if it doesn't work, I'm going to go back to the 18. And, you know, he was doing his little Bagger Nation, just starting out. And from then on, everybody shit their pants. And I got it on the cover of Hot Bike. Jeff Holt got it on there for me. And once that hit the cover, Yaffe was over there. He made that El Chalupa bike, flared out the side covers. Jim Massey, they were all right on my tail. And I just kept going and going and going. At first, I was afraid because of the recession. And this old man told me, he goes, youngster, he goes, I've been through 3 recessions, you know, and he goes, one thing about a recession is people will spend money on stuff they're not supposed to. And I'm like, huh? You know, because the first thing that goes down is toys in my thoughts. And he goes, they'll buy pipes and this and that and work on their bike, even though they're not supposed to. So I just took his advice, and I think I had like $100 grand saved up. That was my whole wife, like, what am I going to do with this? I have my family, my wife, my kids, and I just started doing stretch bags, fenders, and it just caught on slowly. And here we went. I had a real good run. I was managed to stay ahead of everybody all through that. And then the wheels got bigger and bigger, and they got too big, just like the choppers, and the bags got too long. And I don't know. That's just the way things go.
Yeah, they did get a little bit too big, man. But around that 26 on the front looked really good. I still like the 26. And those bags that I got from you, they were stretched, but not too much. You know what I mean? They look really, really good, man.
Thanks. Yeah, we had just, everyone was going with a 30. We've only probably built like 5 30 bikes over the years. And I had to make the fenders, wherever it goes, you have to remain relevant. So we made the FL fender, the wrap fender, we started making the parts, and then it went to a 20 or 32, and I never made a part, and then a 34-inch wheel. It's just not our thing. So.
Yeah, those look really good on the kickstand, but man, it ain't working as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's about as cool as a clown shoe.
Right on. So after the big wheel bagger thing, what was the next thing?
So I could see 7 years ago, I could see the big wheels were slowing down. I could just see it. So we took a soft tail, me and Sideshow. He's my buddy. He's got a shop here in Phoenix, real talented guy. He does a lot of stuff for me. And first we took my shovel head. I brought a shovel head over to his shop, and I brought the wheel, the trees, and I took a Sawzall and I cut the neck off on the shovel head right in front of him. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I want to do a 26 neck on this bike." And so we made a 26-inch shovel head that laid on the ground. It's a pretty famous bike. We did 2 of them. If you Google my stuff, you'll see it's black with everything brushed. Suicide Shift, just a badass bike. And everybody freaked out on the bike, but it's leaking oil, can't keep up on the freeway. Them old bikes.
Yeah.
But so Sideshow, we're starting to think about it. We're like, hey, what if we did what if we made a dirty tail or whatever? We made the same bike out of a new bike. And boom, we just started thinking. We made a swing arm outboard shocks, because everybody knows the soft tail. They ride like shit with them shocks under the frame.
Yeah.
Worst idea Harley ever had. So now we have these bikes called dirty tails, and we cut you don't have to cut the neck off. You could just do a stock wheel, but the rear suspension is the key. We've got the air ride with the tray, with the tank under there. And it runs like a Dyna or whatever. I mean, it's I didn't invent it. It's outboard shocks. So we cut the neck off and we put the touring neck on there. So it puts the tubes behind the trees. So the bike rides like a Road King that's stripped down half the weight. I mean, they're incredible. If you hashtag dirty tail, you won't believe it. And they look badass. They're badass. I don't know if you can see. Can you see that bike right there?
Yeah.
That's a dirty tail. So that's an old Evo.
I can't even tell from here. I mean, I see the soft tail banana bar. Yeah, and I see the strut.
Yeah, struts and the neck.
Okay. Yeah.
And we put a nacelle on it like a Road King, but it's made. We do the wider trees like the bagger, but that's a 91 Evo right there.
Wow.
They ride good. Yeah, there's a bunch of them around here, but I can't really pan around to mess up the whole thing here.
That's cool, man. I like that.
I'm not very technologically advanced.
Yeah. Right on, man.
But I still think I can whip your ass.
Who?
You.
Yeah.
What are you, an owl now? Let's get this podcast going, boys.
All right, man. I knew when I was doing it with you, it's going to be good, man.
Well, we can't.
All right, brother. So check it out. So we got the dirty tail things. Is that still going right now a little bit?
Stronger than ever. So the audio thing has gotten real big, and it's out of hand too. But we make a lot of audio parts for the baggers. We don't really build any baggers no more. If someone wants one, we'll do it. But for the last 5 years, the only thing we build is these dirty tails. And we have the kits for the Evo, the twin cam, or the M8s now. So we just take one M8 after another and build them. Before we're done, they're gone. and they're badass. We put 124s in them. I mean, you got to come. And for a big guy too, bro, like I'm 6'1", whatever, but like even the bigger guys like you get on them, you don't look like, you're on this tiny little bike. I mean, it fits the bigger guys.
So it's lengthening the bike out a little bit, for a big guy.
Lengthening it out, yeah, or a smaller person. There's a bunch of girls that have them. They're real light, and they don't. You can air them up or down. They're just really. Because if you think about it right now, if you're going to build a custom bike, you're going to build a big wheel bagger, and I doubt it. You're going to maybe a cholo bike; those never go out of style, and that's kind of what our bikes are. They're based off the beach bars and the fishtails, and you can kind of do them however you want, but you don't want a chopper because it's a hard tail and it breaks your back. So the logical thing to build if you want a badass bike is one of these dirty tails.
You got suspension. You can go somewhere. You can run around local and look cool, or get on the highway and take off.
Fuck yeah, dude! 124, 6-speed apes, fish. I mean, what else is there?
Now, are you putting those on the newer twin cam ones with the counterbalance motors and all that too?
Yeah. We have all our stuff can work with any of the years.
Right on.
Yeah, it's pretty bitchin'. In fact, if you hashtag dirty tail or dirty tails, you could see a bunch of different ones that are built. A lot of those hamster guys are building one. Yappy's building one right now. He won't call it a dirty tail. For some reason, he's calling it a Vicola, but he's doing one now, and it's pretty cool to see my idea, me and Sideshow's idea, just all over the place. Those are my babies.
Right on, man. So now we got a couple of other categories with some newer trends, I guess, going on here. Let's talk about the performance baggers a little bit.
Yeah, pretty cool. Dudes, I see a lot of videos of guys wheeling and getting hit and stuff and dying and different paralyzed. I mean, you guys be careful on these bikes. Seriously.
People look at that bagger racing and it ain't as easy as it looks.
No, you need to be a pro. Even with those bikes they have set up the best they can be. I mean, though you see them guys wobbling around, and those are pros.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But I don't want to keep saying me, but around 2010, there was 3 guys that were known that could wheelie baggers. One was Manny, one was Slow Joe, and the other one was me. Right. And I'd get calls all the time. How do you get it up? It just spins a tire. And whatever. It was cool back then. It helped promote my brand. I had a nasty black street glide that I wheelied. There's videos everywhere of that bagger-baited video. But right now the performance bagger is hot. I think it's cool. I think it's peaked out, but it's definitely not going to die. I think now there's never going to be anything, in my opinion, that's going to take over where nothing else is cool. We were talking about that, Russ. The chopper were cool, and that was it. The big wheel baggers, that was it. Now it's, and I think it's better. There's the cholo guys, right? The lowrider guys, and then there's the bobber guys, then there's the performance guys and the big wheel guys. So everybody has their own, group of people in their own style. And man, that's what America's about.
It needs to be that way, because one's not going to eclipse the other, and one's not going to cover everything. Like remember back in the 80s and early 90s, people weren't even riding baggers, but then they kind of caught on. But you wanted to have like a chopper or an FXR or a Dyna and a bagger. You know what I mean? And then the baggers were getting cooler and cooler, and then people got rid of the choppers. Then we went into the whole thing where everybody wanted the choppers. And we were talking about it. The wheels kept getting, they got too fat, man. They got ugly,
Just like the big wheel, the bags are longer, wheels bigger, and then a trend dies. Once it can't go no more, it seems like that's when it dies.
Yeah. And actually, about the sweet spot on the big wheel for me is like a 26.
Me too, 100%.
Yeah. And then on the wheels on the back, I like a 180. Is 180 is fine for me for everything, Yeah,
180 is perfect. 200 maybe, but no bigger than that.
Yeah, you don't need it. It's a pain in the ass. And by the way, on those dirty tails, are they set up for 180s pretty much in 200 maybe?
So the ones we build are mostly all the 150, the skinny,
Sure.
but we also have you just use the Fat Boy struts, and we have the wider tire. We've done quite a few with the 180 on the back.
Right on.
You could do them either way. We have fenders for both. Swing arms the same.
Right on. Okay, so now another thing you were telling me is you've got a lot of the guys that are aging out and they still want to ride, so they're going to the trikes, huh?
Yeah, and right now all you guys are cringing. I know it, but you got to think about it. You get older and you can't hold up your bike anymore, or maybe you got whatever your deal is, but you don't want to give up riding. So this way, you could still get on the bike and ride. Yeah, it's a trike, but still, you're in the wind, and So I noticed Harley came out with a new fairing on the trike, the Road Glide, and they've pumped it up quite a bit. And I started looking at Sturgis, and I couldn't believe how many trikes that I saw. So we're building a whole bunch of trike body parts right now.
Beautiful.
And we're gonna, and that way, if a guy says, I can't ride anymore, but I'm not riding one of those fucking trikes, he'll maybe look at our kit or see how some of these trikes are getting done and say, you know what, that's a badass trike. I'm still on the road. I'm still in the road. So that's our thoughts. And, it's not going to take over or nothing, but it's a direction that we're headed in right now.
I'll tell you what, you take a big wheel, slammed fucking trike. That's a sick looking bike.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some that are out there. We're actually building one right now with a 26 on it. We're building all our parts off of it.
That would be good. Perfect right there.
Yeah. And we might do a 23 fat. Are you familiar with that?
23 fat wheel?
Yeah, so a 23 fat is the same height as a 26, but it's twice the tire in height, and it's twice the tire in width. Yeah. So you've got a whole bunch of tire, and you still have that, the same height as the 26.
I remember
I think that might be a better.
Back around 2005-ish or something, they were doing those like a 3.25 inch wide 23, I think. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah. This is like I think they're 5-inch rims. If I'm not.
You got to meet. Yeah, now they probably.
I got two of them right here in front of me, but I can't really pan over to them.
Yeah. Back then, I think 3.25 was the wide one, but yeah, you're talking about a 5-inch wide rim for the front on a 23. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but it's the same height as a 26.
Right. Yeah.
Let me see if I can do this without messing it up.
Right.
I might be a techno. Can you see the white bike?
Yeah.
Okay, so the white bike, that's that diesel bike I built. So that's a 23 fat, and then the orange one next to it, that's a 26.
Right on.
Look at the tire. Yeah, same height, but the rim's actually smaller on the white one, but look how tall the tire is.
Gotcha.
So I think for the trike especially, you don't want to give them that tiny little tire with all that weight on the trike. So I think we're gonna, when we do them, we'll use that 23 fat instead.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Right, all right, man. Why don't you do a shout out for your contact info, maybe the shop phone number, address if you want, and the website?
Yeah. So dirtybirdconcepts.com, that's the website. And then on Facebook, you just look up Dirty Bird, or Instagram, Dirty Bird Concepts, and just like us or whatever, you can follow. We're putting all the latest stuff on there. I put some crazy stuff on there, sometimes old man burnouts, whatever. But I don't know. We're a family, dude. I love all you guys. I've been around a while. Some people like me, some people don't, but here's my advice. Look somebody in the eye when you shake your hand, keep your fucking word, and that's it. That's
golden, man. That's golden. All right, brother. Okay, you got anything else you want to add before I sign off here?
No, dude. Pleasure. Just let me know when you're ready for that ass whipping.
Right. I got the gloves down there at the shop, man. All right, brother.
No gloves. All right.
No gloves. Oh, all right. All right, man. I'll talk to you soon, man.
Bird Concepts.
If you're interested in a sponsorship, product review, to book Rusty for an appearance, or want to recommend somebody to be a guest on the podcast, you can email Rusty directly at rustycoons@gmail.com. Production support and editing provided by Joel Rotz of Lethal Ethics Studios. Thanks for watching, and as always, ride hard and ride safe.